Alright, as we are talking about Arkham Origins, it seems only fair that we should have a chat about the game. So we've brought in resident gamer Rae Johnston, who also happens to be a bit of a Gothamite, so thanks for joining us again on Kapow.
Thanks for having me.
So, okay, first and most importantly, putting on your comic hat rather than the gamer hat, does the story stand up? I think that's the most important thing we've got to look at.
Well, the story that we're seeing here is you've got Black Mask, who's after Batman. He's put a $50 million bounty on his head. So if you ever wanted to be introduced to any particular Batman villain, you're probably going to run into one of them in this game.
Yeah.
They all come out of the woodwork. And it also gives opportunity to a few of the rogues on the side to hatch their evil schemes while everybody else is distracted. As an overall story, it's really satisfying and really enjoyable. But I think people may find the individual interactions with those villains a little lacking.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying with that. I mean, I've had a bit of playtime with it myself. And I mean, obviously, if you're a big fan of the Joker, you're sound as a pound.
Yep.
You're okay.
You're
There's
okay.
plenty of time with him. But with some of the lesser guys, if you're really fixated on them, not so much.
Absolutely. I mean, even as an introduction, you know, you're fighting some thugs, you're fighting some bad guys, you're switching your cape around. The combat's really fluid. It's really nice. And then sudden Killer Croc.
Pops up.
And there's no real reaction there from Batman. There's no real kind of acknowledgement that this is kind of a big deal.
Well, because I mean, that's a big thing, you know, this is an origin story, so it's not like Batman's come up against a giant mutated Killer Croc before.
No, as far as we know.
As far as we know.
Yeah.
No.
And there, you're right, there is no kind of, wait a second, this is a bit weird.
Ooh, big and ugly.
Which you kind of you'd expect for the first time that you come across someone like this.
Absolutely, and that kind of continues throughout the game. There is that sense that he's already familiar with these villains, and that does take a little away from the story.
Yeah, I suppose that. I mean, that's the other thing that I was feeling with this, because it's the first time apparently that he's met all of these people. That kind of devalues these first meetings a little bit, I thought.
Yeah, and if you are a big fan of any of these guys,
You might feel just slightly shortchanged.
Yeah, just want a little bit more
just a
face
little.
time.
That being said, they look great.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. With character design within this, by the looks of things, everyone looks pretty good. Do you think fans of the particular villains like Deathstroke and Deadshot and Lady Shiva, they're going to be happy with the character designs?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the character designs. Batman himself is a little chunky.
But is that Batman, or is that actually what they've put him
It
in?
looks like it's
onto
been
him.
working out a bit, but so I was actually lucky enough to speak to Eric Holmes, the creative director of Arkham Origins, and he spoke about the design of Batman's suit, and yeah, it looks really chunky, and it's kind of awkward for stealthy moments. You know, clambering through vents, you can hear it, and you're like, shh, Batman,
You're going to get stuff caught on bits and pull it free. Not good.
But he actually said that was an intentional thing. It was meant to look like an early design that he'd thrown together, and it was still being refined.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. Now, there are a few changes with Batman, with voice talent.
Yes.
It is not who it used to be.
No, we don't have any Kevin Conroy.
We do
There is
not.
no Kevin Conroy.
And there's no Hamill.
And there's no Mark Hamill. The new voice of Batman is actually the voice of Ezio.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, two of the writers on Assassin's Creed actually penned the story for Origins as
Lifted
well.
them wholesale.
So
We'll take the whole lot.
Hello. come and do some
Come join
Batman
Batman.
for us. That being said, I expected to be disappointed, and I wasn't.
Good.
I actually enjoyed it.
I think it's quite a scary thing when a voice actor takes over something that you kind of go, but that's not my character. That's you know. So I think the fact that they've done a really good job, it's kind of heartening.
It's important. It's
It is.
really important.
I expected to be more critical of the new voice talent for the Joker, but he actually did a great
Again,
job.
great job.
Yeah,
Really
really,
good job.
it was a great Joker coming across.
It was.
Some of the lesser characters I wasn't as much sold on. Alfred in particular, I wasn't buying. I wasn't buying Alfred. He just sounded like a poncy British guy. It just didn't work for me.
Alfred was a bit whiny. Alfred was a little bit, you know, what are you doing?
Not sardonic enough.
Spending your parents' inheritance, and Batman's all like, shut up, Alfred, I'm grown up, I can do what I want.
Going to my
And
cave.
he's like, have you considered investing, your money more wisely, Bruce?
Stop buying batarangs.
Stop putting lights on them.
It's completely counterintuitive. But I think one of the other things that we need to look at before we go completely
Off
the
topic,
rails
yeah.
is, I mean, obviously this is set in Gotham, and it's a bigger Gotham than we've seen in the game so far. does it live up to the Gotham that we've wanted to see, reading the comics and seeing all these little places? Does it bring it together the way we wanted to see?
Because Gotham really is a character in the comic books. It has to be, yeah.
Absolutely. Look, the atmosphere in Gotham is fantastic. You know, set during the winter, you've got the snow, the soundtrack is...
The sound is
divine.
brilliant. Yeah.
It's beautiful, and I think all these things come together. I'm honestly not a huge fan of the map shape. I actually enjoy the map in Asylum better than in City or Origins. I find it a little less restrictive. Origins to me, it feels like the illusion of an open world shoved in a little box.
I can see what you're saying.
I felt like it could have been a little bigger. That being said, it was really great to be able to go up high, and the panoramic views were beautiful.
Really lovely.
Also, being able to go down into the slums, you really get that picture of Gotham really well.
Yeah, I think that's really important in this kind of game too. Now, as all Kapowians will know, we have our own rating system here. We have a buy, borrow, bury or burn. So, Rae, what would you give Arkham Origins?
Look, I've been teetering between a borrow and a buy with this, honestly, simply because of the points that we'd brought up, the negatives from a comic perspective, per se. But honestly, I'd give this a buy, if only for the statues that come with the collectors and the definitive editions.
Well, you know that we're always a fan of those here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, they've taken pride of place. I've actually bought a new bookshelf.
Excellent. Now, we know you have been in before, just recently, to come into King's Comics and talk to a few other people who are getting their first look at the game, see what they thought about it. So maybe we should have a look at that.
So here we are at King's Comics, but tonight it feels like we're in Gotham with all these Gothamites here. We're going to find out their first impressions on Batman Arkham Origins. Harley, what do you think of Batman Arkham Origins?
I love it. Well, what I've played so far, I'm a huge fan of the other two games, and I've been playing them for years, and I've gone through both on hard mode like 3 times, and I was really worried that with the new company that making it that the gameplay would be different, but the controls are the same, the dude kind of sounds the same, and the new Joker is incredible. So I'm pretty pumped. I'm very excited.
First thoughts is it's a lot like Arkham City and Asylum, but that's what's so good about it.
Well, initially I was just worried that Warner Brothers wasn't going to be the same as Rocksteady, obviously, but then as soon as I played it, I instantly just got me hooked, instantly, and it just felt exactly how Arkham City was, and it was great, and visually it's amazing, and just the mechanics of fighting, it just feels much smoother as well, it feels much more faster, because obviously to do with the story as well, it just felt really good to play.
Pretty much, in my opinion, it's pretty much the same game as the other 2 games, which is still good, which I still enjoy. I just love the combat, pretty much.
It's really good. It's just like Arkham City. Like, it's really good.
What is the thing that stands out to you as the best feature of the game so far?
The plot. Honestly, the plot, because like the game is essentially, for me, Arkham Origins is going to be Arkham City and Arkham Asylum, whereas it's kind of disappointing as for a game aspect. But you don't read a Batman comic for how it's set out. You don't watch a Batman movie for how it looks. You watch it because you like Batman and you like the Batman plot and the idea of Batman.
It feels like year 1. Like if you ever watched or read the comics, it's like year 1, and it shows a bit of a darker Batman, but that's how Batman is. He's dark and gritty, and that's how I like my Batmans.
So do you feel like Batman when you're playing it?
I feel like Batman. I could say I am Batman when I'm playing it.
So is there anything that you are slightly disappointed about that?
A little bit that it is still the same gadgets. We sort of previewed EB Games Expo, and the gadgets for me were just I was hoping they would be not more advanced, but because it's a prequel, more simple. You'd have to do a lot more things as a detective, more so than your gadgets being the ones been doing the job for you. Whereas in Arkham City, that's what you had. You had to decrypt, I was hoping in this one you'd actually have to decrypt or do riddles for it or something like that.
Yeah, it felt good.
It feels like Batman.
It feels really good.
I become Batman. I am one with Batman. I am the Batman.
When you're playing, do you feel like Batman?
I put the mask on, yeah.